Hi, my name is Scared SH, and I'm the host of your favorite podcast. Welcome, and thank you for watching today. Today, I want to talk about the importance of really having a supportive partner and a supportive group of friends, supportive people in your life in order to become a better you and in order to live your authentic self. I remember when I wanted to quit my 9 to 5 job, and I was talking about it for years or a couple of years, I should say. And I kept telling my husband that I wanted to quit and start my own business or start my own private practice. And one day he said, Sarah, just stop talking about it and just do it. And it really made me feel nervous, but at the same time, it really encouraged me because I knew that he was in my corner and that he would support my journey. I also had another friend that I was talking about it to, and she pushed me to write my resignation letter. I was hanging out with her and she said, Sarah, we're going to write your resignation letter today. You're going to go home, you're going to write it, and you're going to text me that you wrote it, and you're going to put a date on it. And I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. And I actually went home that night and wrote my resignation letter, and I put a date on it. I think at the time it must have been a couple months out. And I had printed it and I kept it at work in my cubicle. And every time the date approached, I started having anxiety. But I remember that, first of all, my husband was okay with it. And secondly, I felt like I had people in my corner. I had spoken to my mom about it, and she was like, okay, well, if your husband agrees, then yeah, you should go for it. And I just felt that the people that surrounded me was really the reason that I had the courage to take that leap of faith and really go forward with my resignation and start my own private practice. And yes, I was really nervous. And yes, there was a lot of planning. My husband and I had to figure out, okay, well, if for some reason my private practice doesn't work and he's the sole provider, are we going to be financially okay? So we had to revise our budget, make some cuts, decide what we would not spend on anymore, and to ensure that we were living minimally financially so that in case I was bringing $0, that we could still sustain financially. And once we made that budget and we saw that it was okay, we saw that this was possible. Of course, that meant that things would be tight if that was the case. However, we knew that we would still be able to pay our mortgage or utilities and still have a little bit of flexibility to do certain things that we still wanted to. And as a result of planning, talking about it, having people in my corner who were supportive, I actually ended up handing in my resignation letter. And once I quit, I felt free. I didn't feel any guilt because, first of all, we planned for it, my husband and I, but also we planned for the worst, right? We planned for one single salary. And of course, that didn't happen. I started getting clients right away and I was able to contribute financially. So although we planned for the worst, the worst did not happen. And I do feel like if you don't have people who are supportive, who believe in you, even if you believe in yourself, it can be quite difficult to move forward with your dreams, to really want to follow that purpose if nobody supports you. Because if you fail, it's almost like, everybody could be like, hey, I told you so. And that could feel pretty depressive. And nobody ever wants to hear that. So it's very important to make sure that you surround yourself with the right people. If it's not, first of all, it starts in your household. If you don't have a partner and you're by yourself, then in a sense, it's a little bit easier because you're the only person who's responsible for your success and your failure. However, in that case, I do believe you have to choose your friends very carefully, and you have to choose very carefully who you tell about this dream and this purpose of yours, because it's already so difficult to convince yourself that you're going to do it. You don't want to have to convince others. So if you are a person who wants to take that leap of faith, who wants to live their purpose, who has this inner fire that they want to follow, I encourage you to surround yourself with people who are going to, at the very least, just verbally encourage you and motivate you rather than doubt you. So this is my advice for this week. And if you have followed your dream, I'd love to hear about it. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you at the next episode.